The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 9 a.m. Friday morning, 30 minutes to go until the opening bell, and we got markets basically mixed to flat this morning. We're looking at an S&P futures right now, positive by 5 points, trading at 41.32. Quite a little sell-off the markets get yesterday, right at about 1 o'clock. News breaks, potential capital gains tax increases coming from the Biden administration. That plan going to come out next week, so all the details aren't out just yet, but it looks to be at least the highest earners potentially paying 39%, pushing that total to about 43% capital gains taxes. You see the sell-off from 41.70 down to 41.20. We're bouncing around about 41.30 overnight on a couple occasions. We were back down here at about 2 a.m., bouncing a bit off 41.30 right now. You get the tech stocks selling off yesterday. We go from almost 13,950, trade down about 200 points. We're trading 13,774. Interesting, you trade right down to the lows we had of Wednesday on that acceleration yesterday. The Dow's negative 22 points, 33,687, and the Russell catching a little bit of a bid. The Russell, 22.39. Just in the last half hour, though, to hour, we had a little bit of a sell-off in the Russell there. What else we have? Crude. Right now, positive by 12 cents at 61.54. Gold contract catching a bid. Gold basically trading inverse with the markets right now, climbing to higher levels, going for the high we had on Wednesday of 17.98. You see that acceleration on gold. Gold from about 4 a.m. up about $10 to $12 right now at 17.94. And the gold contract jumping around to notes and bonds. The 10-year positive by 4 ticks right now. Yes, 4 ticks, trading at 132.22. You're looking at a yield in the 10-year of 1.53%, 1.537 to be exact percent. Over in Europe right now, you got the DAX negative a full percent, FTSE negative 0.6%, and we'll jump over to the VIX. Volatility index this morning, we spiked to almost 20 yesterday. We're back to 1851 with 22 minutes to go until the opening bell, and we got to talk about crypto. What's going on in the crypto world? 47,000 handle on Bitcoin. We just climbed back above 50,000. Short-lived, though. We're now trading at 49,140. Technically, you're down $3,700 on the session. You put Bitcoin on a daily, quite a little pullback we've gotten from 65,000. What are the odds that you get the high of Bitcoin the day that you get a crypto exchange, the biggest one in the world, Coinbase, going public, hoping for a $100 billion valuation? That's how it goes sometimes, folks. You trade up to 65,000. They push out Coinbase. You're now down to 49,140. Coinbase, for reference, now the daily is going to look a little funky because they've only been trading for 7 trading days. But putting this thing on a 30-minute, going back to where they went public, not the kind of trend that you want to see. The reference price, which I am certain that Coinbase came out with, thinking that they're definitely going to trade above that level. Reference price $250 within a shot, even today at 284 right now, continuing to decline as we see a pullback in crypto. I mean, there's some huge capital gains taxes in crypto, right? If that's how you're getting hit there, huge capital gains taxes in crypto. They may be the biggest of them all in terms of what people have in some of those Bitcoin in particular coins. Now, I wanted to jump real quick. I pulled up on the Robinhood platform. They're just one of them that has Dogecoin. I wouldn't advise using Robinhood. I think, and Thinkorswim is a sponsor, but just the tools within Robinhood are nothing near what they are on the Thinkorswim platform in terms of the charting, and in terms of Robinhood compared to many platforms, really, many professional platforms. It's just not there. But for the retail trader, they love it, and you're able to trade these Dogecoin. But look at this drop. I mean, it was all the rage. We got up to 42 cents on a couple occasions. We got up there on April 16th for Dogecoin. We got up there as well on April 19th. Since then, you're talking about almost a 50% pullback. We were just trading at 20 cents. Folks, if you are trading this, I mean, look at it. You go back to half a penny on March 26th. It's April 23rd, folks. You go from, no, excuse me, that is 5 cents. You go from 5 cents. Yes, you got to go back further than that to find the fractions of the penny. You put it on a yearly, you go back to September, you're trading at 1/5 of a penny almost. And the run really began, let's find it, in January, as you go from under a penny, and since then we're up to 42. You see the euphoria, though, folks. We've all seen it before. You see the parabolic nature. It doesn't get more obvious than that. Next stop for Dogecoin is probably at least 7 pennies, the beginning of this run, because it's just one big game of hot potato, and you're seeing some real devastation in that. Now, it's interesting, right, in terms of what's going on, because I had up here already to talk about. Now, I wonder what price Dogecoin these articles got written at. I mean, when history looks back, right, in terms of euphoria, in terms of headlines, I just became a Dogecoin millionaire. They pick one person. Now, this gentleman, hopefully he had the foresight to sell. But what's going on in this article is pretty dicey when you talk about that he invested $180,000 in Dogecoin on February 5th when it's priced at 4.5 cents. Folks, is that a smart investment? No. Does that mean that he can't make $1 million with it? No, it doesn't. And it seems like he may have, only if he sold, though. But please don't go sink $200,000 into Dogecoin at 4 pennies, because realistically, there's nothing behind this. And if you get into it, I was reading this, I wasn't even aware until today that the supply, and this is because I haven't dabbled in Dogecoin, I'm sure if you do, you may be aware, the supply of Dogecoin, 30% of the available supply of Dogecoin is owned by like one person or something like that, is in this article we had. I thought I had it down here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, but either way, it talks about him investing in margin to invest this $180,000. I mean, you're still talking about Dogecoin trading at 20 cents, but pretty euphoric in that crypto sector. Bitcoin, a whole different animal. Bitcoin probably around forever. Regulation, one thing that could hurt it in a big way, but Bitcoin, a far different story from Dogecoin. Don't confuse the two. Completely different. Dogecoin, absolutely no use. You can't use Dogecoin to pay for anything, versus Bitcoin is being adopted across the board, whether it's into apps like just online payment apps of any kind, PayPal, etc. All right, checking around some of the stocks this morning. Let's jump around. We'll put things on a 15-minute. We'll check out some of the FANG stocks. We got a big week of earnings next week coming up. We got Amazon slightly higher this morning, with the tech stocks slightly higher. Quite the pullback yesterday. But when you consider, all the speak out there in terms of the ramifications of a capital gains tax like that, not really that big of a move. I mean, Microsoft, quite a move. $5, you drop from $261 to $255. Some of these stocks, rightfully so, you've had quite a run in terms of capital gains. There would definitely be a little bit of a rush to beat that capital gains if it was something that may get passed next year, etc. But that's a long way away, folks. We've seen this before in the market. We saw this before in the elections in November. We saw this before in the Georgia Senate elections as well in January. There's a lot of moderate Democratic senators right now, and it only takes one. And so I think the market, with this reaction, is probably rightfully saying, yes, there's a potential for some capital gains taxes, but as long as you have moderate Democratic senators, and a couple come to mind, there's probably nothing that's going to be done to a dramatic impact. But we'll find out. But no real reaction in the market when you think about where we're sitting. I mean, you put this thing on a daily basis, folks. You might as well keep in mind that we are bumping up against all-time highs, basically. So, all things considered, not the reaction you may anticipate. Remember all that talk before the elections about the market going down 10%, etc.? Look at where we are since those numbers. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Golden ratios give shape to everything in our world, represented in the Fibonacci sequence. These special numbers define the patterns that make up our universe. Not even markets can escape the omnipotence of these ratios. Larry Pesavento is a 45-year market veteran who has published nearly a dozen books on the powerful patterns we find in nature and their relationships with the ever-elusive markets. Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, will teach you to harness the power of these natural golden ratios in order to create successful trades. Fibonacci 24/7 is designed to teach the tools you need to identify and act on these undeniable and reoccurring patterns. Sign up for Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, and you will also receive free access to his trading webinar, Trading Strong Trending Markets. Try out Larry's newsletter risk-free. All of TFNN's newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P is positive by 4 points right now. We have the NASDAQ 100 up 19, Dow off 26. Take a look at the gold contract. A little bit of volatility in a big way on gold. Gold spiking up above 17.95. And look at this little pullback we got going on. These are 15-minute bars, 9 a.m. this morning. Just since basically I came on the air, you're going from 17.96. We're trading at 17.89. Now, gold, for a much larger picture of the gold contract, taking things, we're going to put things on a 5-year weekly. All right, we really see, you go back to 2018, we had lows of about 1,200, remarkable, right, 1,200. You go back to 2019, we were sitting at about 1,300 before this run really begins. We're going to zoom in on the action starting next year. COVID brings gold from 1,700. We make a low in gold of 1,450. That low made March 16th, the week of. From there, you accelerate to a high of 2,089. Really nice to see the bounce here. And I've talked about it many times, but gold continuing to catch a bid. These are weekly bars. You see the acceleration we have going on. This is the third consecutive weekly bar to the positive side. Now, we bounced off 1694 right at 1,700. That's the 618 of this full run. That's the area that correlated a little bit of a chop last year from about April till June. Gold trading at 1,788. 1,800 seems like the logical next place for gold, putting it on a daily. And you can see that's an area that's been support. You could say a general area of support we're coming into now. That area in gold from December, also a spike low we got the day of January 19th and got back down there at the beginning of February as well. So gold now bumping up to about 1,800. We'll see how we trade through that level. All right, what else we got going on? Let's see. Checking out some of the stocks that are moving this morning. Kimberly-Clark out with their numbers. Consumer Products Company, they are lower pre-market after it reported weaker than expected profit and sales for the latest quarter. A full-year forecast came in below Wall Street consensus. Number of challenges during the quarter, including supply chain issues. Be interesting to see if as we go through this earnings season, right, that's going to be a common excuse. Sometimes it's going to be a real excuse, folks. There are supply chain issues across the board. We're seeing those spikes in some of the commodities. Lumber comes to mind in particular. Difficult comps to a year ago. Every company is going to say that if they're not doing well. And consumers stocked up on items as the pandemic began. KMB. Now, we're all aware. Now, this is trading down about $6 pre-market. Let's put things on a 3-year weekly for some context here. We made it up to 160 in August. And then back to a 1-year daily. We're at 140. Interesting, you're bumping right up against this. I mean, look at this area, right? Talk about an area of resistance here, correlates right to the gap we had going back to earnings from October, and then you put things on a 15-minute, and there's the drop. We're down to 134 from about 140 this morning on Kimberly-Clark. We also got Sam Adams. Sam, looks like the beer business is a good one to be in. They're trading up. Look at that. You're talking about you closed yesterday at 12.46. You're trading at basically 13.30 in Sam Adams. 7.6% at one point, beating the top and bottom line estimates by a wide margin. The results were helped by a jump in sales of its Truly hard seltzer brand. Those hard seltzers, they are on fire. Truly a big one in a big way for Boston Beer, Sam Adams. Quite the acceleration for them this morning. Mattel, they're out this morning after they reported, 47% sales growth for the latest quarter compared to a year ago. Nobody was out there buying toys probably as things hit hard. Much smaller loss than expected. Revenue beat forecast on strong sales like Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels. Unlike Barbie and Hot Wheels, right? Those are two classics. There's Mattel from 21 to 22.26 this morning as we got about 8 minutes to go until the opening bell. We'll put this thing on a daily for some context. Some of these companies, folks, I was talking to a trader yesterday about it. The opportunities in this market in some sectors was just remarkable. You had this thing trade from 14 down to 6. The market figures out that the world will still exist even with COVID. We will get through this. Mattel, they figure out it's not going to go bankrupt, and you more than triple the price, and you're going to open at 22.26. That's going to be above the highs that we had from March 8th. This is a weekly, so above those highs we're going to open at this morning, and we'll really back things up. I mean, this is quite a chart. We're talking about 22. You're now going to be well above the lows we had of 2015. Seems like the next stop. Potentially, I mean, we're getting over some lofty areas here. Potentially $35 if the thing holds up, which you're talking about a solid 50% from basically where we're trading at right now in Mattel. Okay, American Express out with their numbers this morning. First quarter profit, $2.74 a share, beating the estimate of $1.61. Quite a beat. The financial services company revenue, slightly short of forecast, though. Not what you want to see, folks. If a company says, well, we didn't take in as much money as we figured we would, but guess what? We were able to make things work out and turn a profit. You say, yeah, but what's going to happen if that revenue keeps shrinking? Exactly. Bottom line was helped by a credit reserve release. We saw it with the banks. That's the key there, folks. As the macroeconomic environment improved, American Express shares, though, I mean, you're not going to be a successful growth company in the future just by releasing excess reserves that you put in the coffers in case things went bad. They have missing revenue, not decreasing revenue. They missed the estimates. American Express down from about 148 to 141. That's quite a move on a company like American Express, but all things in context, right? We're still going to be above where we were prior to COVID. You were at 138. You trade down to 70. This is a daily chart we're looking at. American Express this morning, you're going to open at 141. And again, to keep things in context, you're talking about basically just back to where we were to start the month of April. You're going to see it, some lofty expectations for these companies as we come into earnings season. You're seeing it with American Express, and they don't deliver, and you give back some of the gains, but you only give back what you incurred this month for a miss on the revenue side. All right, Honeywell, out with their numbers. They beat estimates by 12 cents a share for profits, quarterly earnings of $1.92. Revenue beat estimates as well. Honeywell's aerospace segment declined, but it saw strength in safety and productivity business. Those shares are lower this morning for Honeywell. There's the daily. It's been quite a run for Honeywell, but we're going to open about $4 lower this morning. There's your action on Honeywell down to $2.25. And I think Schlumberger we're going to look at next. Schlumberger, yeah, they're up. Let's see. Are they out with their numbers? Yes, they are. Not too much movement. You did get a little bit of a spike, I guess, up to $25.75. They reported better than expected profit and revenue. Oil services company. They should be making money. All right, now let's get into the two I've been waiting for. Intel. All right, Intel. They fell 2.2%. They're lower. Beat estimates on the top and the bottom line. Okay, now getting into this, it's going to be a tough one. I was really close to maybe selling a call spread in Intel yesterday. Did not do it, but the methodology behind it, just to walk through, because of course hindsight's 2020, right? You sell a call spread, you sell somebody else the right to buy Intel at a price above where it's trading at yesterday. It would be a bearish trade because you're selling somebody the exposure to the upside. They're paying you premium for that, right? I mean, the mentality behind it is there's a lot of optimism built into Intel at a time where they are struggling to keep up with the likes of their competitors, AMD in particular. You put the 3-year weekly on things, you're bumping right up against these all-time highs. And this is just basically on the premise that they got new leadership, all right? They have a new goal, a new agenda, a new turnaround. But it's going to take time, folks. Nonetheless, you're trading lower at about $60. All things considered, again, you're almost back to where you were March 25th. Far cry from where you were to start the year at $50 right now. For Intel shares, let's close that. But getting into what they said, so $1.39 versus $1.15. I mean, look at these numbers to trade lower, right? Revenue, 18.57 versus 17.9 for the second quarter. They expect 17.8 in revenue. Bigger than the number of 17.55 they were looking for. They missed estimates for second quarter EPS as they expect $1.09 and Intel is guiding $1.05. That's a slight one. We'll dig into this a little bit more. We'll look at Intel. We'll look at Snapchat as well. Snapchat this morning trading higher on their numbers. We're going to open at about 62 on Snapchat shares. We'll get into those. We'll be back for the opening bell. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den trading room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and we got the S&P up by 5 points right now at 4133. We have the NASDAQ 100 up 35, the Dow negative by 49. Gold contract up about $5, giving back some of the gains we had this morning, trading at $17.87. We got crude right now up 3 pennies. Checking in on Bitcoin, we're back under 48,900 right now on Bitcoin shares. Getting back to Intel and Snapchat. So Intel opening, continuing to plunge. We're down about 5.7% now at $58.92. Intel, as we mentioned, revenue and profit dropped slightly from last year. We got into the revenue numbers. In a year-ago quarter, Intel reported $9.78 billion in sales. The group comprises more than 59% of the revenue versus $10.61 billion in the most recent quarter. And getting into Snapchat, man, Snapchat's got some strong numbers. Let's see how they're trading on the open to start things. Yeah, I figured. Accelerating. We're up 10%. Check out these numbers on Snapchat. They beat basically across the board. They report accelerating revenue growth, strong user numbers for the first quarter. Snapchat, how about year-over-year revenue growth? Now, take a moment. Was Snapchat a great company a year ago in April of 2020? Yeah, it's a worldwide phenomenon already, and they're going to grow their revenue almost 100%, basically. They're going to grow at 80 to 85% for the second quarter. Now, there might be some comps going on there. Maybe people pull back on for some advertising as the pandemic hit. But that is quite a number in terms of what you're talking about. And look at the comps we're talking about in terms of their beat. So, adjusted loss per share, 0 cents. They broke even versus 6 cents. They were looking for a loss. Revenue, $770 versus $743 million. This is always a big one because that's the core of their business, right? How many people are using their product? Because you can always monetize those people in the future, not always, but that's an easier conversion to make as opposed to actually getting people to use your product. $280 million versus just over $274 the market was looking for. Average revenue per user higher as well. Now, they're still losing money. The net loss narrowed to $287 million from $306 million a year ago. They are still losing money. They expect year-over-year revenue growth of 80 to 85%, a significant acceleration from the 66% annualized revenue growth it saw in the first quarter. They expect to reach 290 million daily active users in the second quarter. They're at 280 right now. First ever quarter of positive free cash flow as a public company. Pay attention to that one, folks. Positive cash flow of $126 million. When you think about the size of the company that Snapchat is, you think about their growing revenue, and I own no Snapchat. I wish I did. All right, so because this is a transition point if they stay the course here in terms of growth for revenue at 80%, and then you add into that positive free cash flow for the first time as a public company. It doesn't take a rocket science to imagine what the future could look like if you're growing revenue at that rate and you're already positive free cash flow and your stock. Now, this thing has gotten a little ahead of itself, okay? There's your chart. We were at under $10 during the pandemic lows. Things really accelerated in October. We've popped from 50 to 61 just when you look at where we were a month ago. But you're talking about a company right now, when you pull up the Analyze tab on the Thinkorswim platform, you jump over, you're a $93 billion market cap for a company like Snapchat. And Facebook is not the comparison because they're their own animal, but Facebook is, more than 8 times to 9 times the size of the company that Snapchat is. Even for curiosity, Twitter, I think Twitter's going to be smaller. What are we at? Where's my head? Yeah, $52 billion. But man, that is some strong numbers for Snapchat. The market rewarding them, rightfully so. You're up 8.3% for Snapchat. Checking back in on Intel. Intel down about 6.2% right now. American Express on their numbers down about 3.3%. Checking out the short-term chart, catching a little bit of a bid for American Express. Intel shares, yeah, I mean, the trend continues on the open, whether it's Intel continuing lower, down 6.2%, or you got Snapchat catching a little bit of a bid now, up 9+% on the open. Let's check out some of the FANG stocks. We get the NASDAQ 100 up 56%. As I imagine, you're seeing Amazon jumping a bit. We're up 0.5% on Amazon to 33.26. Microsoft shares right now, let's see. Give me 1 second here. Okay, we got Microsoft shares, trading up 0.3% right now. I was pulling up, so we got a big week of earnings next week. Let's jump to, we have Google on Tuesday, Alphabet, okay? Google shares up almost a full percent. Google is so strong, man. Look at this. No pullback in Google whatsoever. The whole world is watching YouTube, folks. The whole world is paying for ads on YouTube, let alone their search the Google search, which, yeah, that's their core business for sure. But the fact they own Google, I mean, young people, Google is just its own entire cable system and content brand. Google up almost a full percent, just continues to be the strongest of the tech stocks, almost up there at 22.30. So we got Google on Tuesday. We get Apple and Facebook on Wednesday. Apple up about 0.6% right now, still far off the 145. But as you can see, we're kind of bumping up against this area right here. Maybe 135 is an area of general resistance in Apple. We're trading at 132.71. But all these stocks are going to be coming into earnings right near all-time highs. So we get Apple on Wednesday. We get Facebook on Wednesday next week as well. Facebook up about 7.75%. We chopped around for a while in between about 250 and 290. Facebook kind of coming back to test this area. Be interesting to see if we catch a bounce on their earnings coming out Wednesday. And then we get Amazon on Thursday. Amazon right near the top end of their consolidation through 35.52. Call it even a spike high on September 2nd. And we made also highs in October. Highs back there in February, a couple highs near that area towards the end of 2020, as well as the slide beginning in February 19th. But Amazon trading up 0.3% right now. Okay, what else we got going on? Excuse me, jumping around to the other stocks out there. Let's see. Yeah, so the World Wrestling Entertainment, they're up almost 3% after they reported better than expected profit, and revenue. Profit fell from a year ago, however, reflecting a decline in live events due to the pandemic. I mean, that is a tough one, right? If you're holding live events, to back things up for some context, you accelerate from basically 62 prior to COVID. You trade down from 29 this morning. We're basically down 1%, trading at 55, relatively near where we were prior to COVID. Let's check on the airlines real quick to see where we're at in the cruise ships. Carnival, I mean, this market's pausing here because we need some ways to go before these cruise ships really get back to where they were. It's probably going to take till 2022. But, man, when you look at some of the possibilities here, folks, there will be a rotation into cruise ships at one point when those cruise ships, and I was going to say get back to normal business, but they're not going to get back to normal business. Everything's going to take a little time to vaccinate the whole world. We're seeing how difficult it's going to be to get that last, whether it's 30% of Americans potentially, because we're not vaccinating people under the age of 16 right now. So if you have 0% vaccination under the age of 16, to reach a herd immunity of your total population of anywhere near 60 to 70% of everybody, you need some pretty substantial numbers of adults over 16 that we're just not seeing. Unfortunately, there's some vaccine hesitancy. It is safe. It is effective, folks. I got my second shot about 10 days ago. So I'm about 4 days out from that 14-day period. I encourage you to do the same if you can. But tying it back to the market, it's going to take time. It's taking time in America. It's really going to take some time across the globe. And international airlines and cruise ships are going to be some of the last ones to get back all that price losses from COVID. But boy, there's a big room to make up. When you just look at Carnival, you get 100% basically from where you were prior to the beginning of COVID. We'll look at some of the other airlines. We'll look at some of the cruise ships. We'll look at some of the gaming stocks when we get back as well. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps positive by 8, bumping up right near this consolidation we have going on towards all-time highs. Tech stocks trading higher after a little bit of a pullback yesterday. We got the NASDAQ 100 up 53 points. Dow giving back some of it. We're off about 70 points right now at 33,641. Jumping around to commodities, crude up 16 cents right now. Bitcoin continuing to slide. Check out that acceleration on a daily basis. I mean, do we make it down to the highs that we had January 8th? Right on that chart, that seems the next area, 45,000 basically. That's the area of support we had. When you back it up to the end of February, correlates pretty closely to the area we had of resistance back in January, the spike high we had. And man, quite a run. Just for some curiosity here, let's see what kind of a pullback we're talking about just from January 27th in Bitcoin. And you're coming right into the 50% right now, 47,178 for Bitcoin. And we just hit a price level of 47,395. We give back 50% of the gain just like that, folks. Watch out. All right. What else we got going on? Interesting story out here talking about the presumptive top NFL draft pick, Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback out of Clemson. He just signed with Gatorade. So it made me think of a story I was reading recently. You want to hear something interesting, folks? Michael Jordan. Probably the best basketball player to ever live. That's debatable, though. He made, I believe it was something in the realm of $93 million of salary while playing for the Bulls and winning them 10 championships. Pretty good pay at that time, considering when he came into the league. Nowadays, of course, NBA max contracts, well above $93 million just for one contract. But how much has he been paid by Nike to date? $1.3 billion approximately. So those sponsorship deals, it's something else. It really is. Jordan, maybe the biggest commodity in terms of sponsorship out there. Air Jordans, et cetera, and how he locked that in. And rightfully so, because Nike was not the company it is today before Jordan came. So, yeah, they've paid him $1.3 billion. But for some context, folks, Nike, right now, to check it out, and I should have pulled up the year that Jordan came into the league. Nike's trading with a market cap of $203 billion, and you back these things up to a monthly just to talk about the type of value some of these sponsorship deals can come in with. As I pull this up, you're looking at Nike trading at 128, and you're looking at Jordan. Now, Jordan, he came into the league, I believe, when he was about 1983. Let's see where he came into the league. They won the national championship in 1982. He joined the Bulls in 1984. 1984. I do not have a Nike chart back to 1984, but I go back to 1987 when I have Nike at 22 cents. Nike's currently trading at $128.71. I'd say that was a good investment in Michael Jordan for that company. Nonetheless, you see the impact. Interesting, as we got the NFL draft coming up, and we got sponsorship deals that can be some of the biggest deals out there, far exceeding even the pay on some of those contracts, especially when you go back and think about what athletes were making. I found that stat remarkable. $93 million he made, and he's talking about billions. I believe Jordan's worth excess of $2 billion now as a professional athlete. Rightfully so, when you think about the brands he's been, especially Nike, Air Jordans, etc. All right, what else we got going on in the market? Checking back, things just wild, folks. You looked at where we were this morning. We were almost at 25. You see this slide. Things just continue, and we're under 22 cents. Be careful you're doing anything over there in a big way. Now, these stories, they're going to continue to put volatility in the crypto sector. This one's pretty remarkable. You have Turkey beginning a manhunt for a CEO of a collapsed crypto exchange. So Turkey launching an international manhunt for the founder of one of its major crypto exchanges after he just stopped paying clients and fled the country. It's a remarkable time to be a criminal if you have the wherewithal to be in the tech sector. And, you know, I say that as in, of course, you shouldn't be doing that, folks. But, man, this sector is just ripe for financial fraud / financial criminal activity. The Justice Ministry is seeking a so-called red notice under which Interpol will help find, provisionally arrest, and then return the Thodex Chief Executive Officer Farouk Fatih Ozer from Albania to Turkey. And that's the state-run agency reporting Friday. They've already detained 62 people in 8 cities. With 16 others remaining at large, and you'll understand why they're coming after him, because losses could be as high as $2 billion with investor money from potentially, now this is where it changes in terms of numbers, in terms of disputed. They're saying maybe 390,000 people. That's the lawyer for the victims. They're saying maybe 30,000 users have been affected potentially. Nonetheless, you're talking about potentially $2 billion. As high the losses, and it has to do with many of the residents of Turkey flocking to crypto, one of the biggest things, right, to hold off inflation. So Thodex was a part of the cryptocurrency boom that's drawn in legions of Turks seeking to protect their savings from rampant inflation. And in unstable currency, inflation hit 16.2% in March, more than 3 times the central bank's target of 5%. Could you imagine if the U.S. was targeting 5% inflation and you had 16.2% inflation in March? Watch out. The lira has weakened 10% against the dollar this year. Its 9th consecutive year of losses. So it's not hard to imagine, right, that everybody's flocking to crypto. You have an unfortunate setup where you have somebody who has some ethical questionable characteristics, at least being alleged, and nonetheless you're talking about basically billions of dollars put in there by Turks hoping to save their investment. This is why you need regulation, folks. This is the type of stories you're going to see, I mean, even our elected officials say you need regulation. Now, this is why Coinbase is able to charge higher fees for more reliable nature, right? Now, I don't know if Coinbase is doing business in Turkey or whatnot, but that's the reason why Coinbase has had the success they have had, because they add legitimacy to an industry that is consistently crippled by stories like this. You're going to continue to see them happen. Be careful with your money out there, folks. That's why people love trading this stuff on Robinhood, okay? Because you have a general idea that Robinhood ain't just going to close up shop and have the CEO disappear with $2 billion in customer funds. Now, Robinhood is regulated, so that can't happen. But you understand the difference. Coinbase, let's see how they're trading this morning. That's going to be a monthly of 1 bar. Coinbase is down an additional 1.3% today, catching a little bit of a bid on the open, 289. Be really interesting to see what happens if this thing gets close to the reference price, because the reference price means absolutely nothing. They only use it as almost a marketing ploy so that on day one, they got to say that Coinbase closed at $328, up $78 from $250, which was the reference price. They shouldn't even be allowed to do that. It's almost misleading data that they're able to put out there. But you need a reference price for what it's worth. But we're creeping right back down to that level. We're at 290 right now. You pull up the Analyze tab, and we're talking about a market capitalization of $57 billion. What happened to $100 billion? Remember all the talk? $100 billion? Yeah, not quite. And the Ark Fund right now, let's see. Yeah, we're trading at about up 1%, just checking it out. They got a lot of Coinbase, 122 down from the highs of 160. You've given it all back from where we were in December 8th in that fund. But, that's what happens when you ride the coattails of some of these big tech stocks, because Tesla, we're at 725, basically pretty similar story, right? You're basically right to where you were almost at December 18th on Tesla shares. Watch out for this market, folks. As I mentioned, we'll talk about a little bit more in the final 3 minutes. Don't get caught up in all the fear of these taxes. Yes, that will drive some selling for sure. But there's a couple moderate Democrats in particular in the Senate that they're going to prevent anything too dramatic happening, I imagine, on the tax front. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P's up 16 points right now. This market continuing to run 41.44. You might get quite an acceleration today. Look at that acceleration on the open, folks. We're up about 13 points in the last basically an hour and a half of trading. Jumping over to the Qs real quick. We had a question in the YouTube Tigers Den. Qs catching quite a bit from 336 to 337. And the question was, rightfully so. It's a great question. You've risen in the Qs basically from where we were since March. In terms of these lows of 300, we're up at 337 in the Qs. And how do fund managers approach next week if they miss the initial run-up? Second fund buying strategy at the end of the month. Listen, fund, when you look at this, folks, it's so hard to get into a market that's risen so much. But when you talk about fund managers are paid to be in the market, period. If you are not in the market and this market runs and you miss it, you might end up with not having a job come next month. And exaggerating a bit, but you're in the business to be in the business. You're not in the business not to be investing funds in the market, especially at a time like this. I mean, every time this thing has dipped, you buy the dip. It's almost a running joke at this point, right? You buy the dip. So with that in mind, that's not going to hamper this thing in the long run. There's still a lot of potential for some of these tech stocks, and we've seen it. I mean, you look at this thing in a 3-year weekly, right? And you could have said, well, geez, you ran from a low in March of 164 to 300 in August. Well, if you had sold at the peak of 300 in that entire run, yeah, you would have missed almost 10% right now from where we are coming into those big earnings. And finishing up with the potential tax increases, we'll see how this proposal comes out next week. But I encourage you folks to take a look at this. It's a big number, but this is only on households. In terms of doubling the capital gains tax rate for those earning $1 million or more, you tie it back to where we are in terms of the data from 2018. That's basically 1 out of every 33 people. The pledge out there was to talk about, from Biden, raising taxes on nobody making less than $400,000. We'll see how this plays out. That'll cause some selling. But the other way, what happens after that initial run of selling we get? In terms of that'll create some power to hold those positions, which might have some benefit as well. But we got a lot of debt, folks. We got to pay for it somehow. There's some level of income that I'm okay with in that degree, and we'll see how they come out. This is just speculation. It's a news story. We get all the details starting next week. Stay tuned, folks. Have a great Friday. We got Basil coming up next.